Rad. Well, let's move on to something that I did not expect to get excited about, which is Mage. I'm not typically a big Mage player.
And I love Mage. I love Mage in Hearthstone. Not so big a fan of it in WoW, but in Hearthstone, I love it.
See, I am aligned with my World of Warcraft. I just Paladin all day, every day, in both. And I don't get it because I'm a total freaking edgelord. I should be playing Death Knight, which isn't an option in Hearthstone for now. Where's my camera? For now.
Demon Hunter's kind of close. Like, they're kind of edgy. So.
Oh, their edgelord is all get out. They're emo. I love that. I love that we got the term emo used in an actual expansion announcement for Hearthstone. Like, that just made me so freaking happy. But No Minion Mage. No Minion Mage has me so freaking excited. So there's quite a few cards I want to mention here. Incanter's Flow, a 2-mana spell for Mage that reduces the cost of spells in your deck by 1. This is very interesting when we get into all of these other freaking spells that build upon this minion-free Mage deck. Like Font of Power, which is a 1-mana discover a Mage minion. If your deck has no minions, keep all 3. Seems good. But
I love the head bob.
Are you just waiting for Deep Freeze to like go off with hype, Regis?
No. I'm torn.
Okay.
I was really excited about this. More thinking about it, I'm not sold. I tried to build a deck list today, and it really struggled to build one. So keep going through the cards. We'll talk through it. But
okay.
I've got some, hesitation.
All right. So Incanter's Flow, Font of Power, not quite getting there. How about I tell you about Deep Freeze, Regis? It's an 8-mana spell. Freeze an enemy. Summon 2 3/6 water elementals.
Yeah, it summons some water elementals. Yeah. But it's 8 mana. It's pretty expensive.
It's probably going to be 6 by the time you get to it.
7 or 6. Yeah.
I got to be honest. There's a lot of Galakrons out there. I don't know if 2 water elementals on turn 6 is enough. I'm being a bit of a downer because here's the deal. I built a theory crafted deck list for No Minion Mage today. I was really excited about it as well. I thought, oh my gosh, Incanter's Flow seems insane. All these discounts, but it didn't feel like there was enough ways to actually interact with stuff. Like, you can't really summon enough minions. There's Deep Freeze. There's like Power of Creation. There's a handful of spells in standard format, some secrets that summon you things, including the new Netherwind portal that will summon you a 4-cost minion after your opponent casts a spell. There's options, but it felt really inconsistent. I was like trying to get enough minions, and I gave up on control tools and removal. And it felt like half the time I didn't know what I was going to do on a given mana cost or curve. It's like, well, I don't have anything to do for turns like 4 through 6 or something. And if you don't hit Incanter's Flow, then everything's all out of whack. So, and then Font of Power, like, okay, that sounds really cool. 3 minions for 1 mana is like a lot of value, but I look through Mage minions and there's like, well, I don't know, half of these aren't that great. So there's the Antonidas high rolls, but so I don't want to be a downer because I'm really excited to try it, and I hope I'm wrong, and maybe there's some magic deck list that lines it up.
Yeah, I think
I feel like getting enough minions is the problem, and then getting enough value after you get those minions to kind of stretch the game out is going to be problematic too. So please talk me into it. I want to talk me off this ledge.
I'm not because I want to actually laser focus a little bit more on. I think you bring up an interesting point with Incanter's Flow about how if you don't hit it kind of throws your play out of whack. And I could see, because the thought for half a second flooded into my mind of, oh, this is Mage. They're used to just praying for Pocket Galaxy. But that's a card you didn't play until later. Incanter's Flow is something you want very early in a deck like this.
You have to hit it earlier. It's no good. Like, if you hit it on turn 10, you don't care, because Pocket Galaxy could like accelerate your discounts, because you could discount things by like 9 all at once. This has got to take time to stack up to all the discounts, because you're only getting each card by 1 at a time, as opposed to like 8 or 9 mana in a single play. So you need time for it to get there, and that makes me nervous. And I liked this card when I reviewed it, and I'm getting lower and lower on it over time. Even talking right now, I'm like, oh no.
It does feel quite Keliseth-y, right? Like, if you don't get it kind of on 2 early on, then you're losing its effectiveness, you're losing its value the more cards you draw out of your deck, right? So.
Yep.
Didn't they at one point say that they weren't happy with the draw dependency of Keliseth? And I feel like we're seeing a lot of Keliseth cards. We saw a few that were in that vein in Descent of Dragons, and now we're seeing a few that are in that vein here. When it felt like there was quite a drought of really draw, like heavy cards that like post Keleseth. Like it really felt like they kind of got away from that. And now it feels like they're going back to it. And I'm excited for our next the dev interview, because I want to ask them like, why? What made you go back in this direction?
Well, Celestalon is in the chat room.
Oh,
and
hi,
says there's a
dude.
pretty large difference between this and Keleseth, to be fair.
I mean,
I love it.
I don't think there is. If you want me to deep freeze, like,
I will say I don't think the payoff of this is as high as Keleseth personally. I
which then
Keleseth,
that means like the downside isn't as big as Keleseth too, right? Like,
right.
The swing isn't as extreme.
Yeah, because a lot of the cards you care about discounting are going to be more impactful later in the game, whereas Keleseth gave you the stats pretty fast. Like, of course, you had to draw the cards, but it would start pretty quickly and overwhelming the board really quickly. And I think this one, first off, you got to have 2 cards to even make up the sacrifice of this card itself, because you're not playing a minion on board like with Keleseth. But beyond that, for it to really make sense for me, it's like I probably have to play like 5, 6, 7 cards to really feel like I got some value out of this, which is going to take a lot of draws and a lot of turns and a lot of time. So what I think this will get way better later. We don't have that many cards that are going to be in standard format, because we're going to be on 4 expansions. We'll be moving up to 5 and then 6 throughout the course of the year, right? And I think as we get more mage spells in the pool, this starts to feel better and better, particularly because I'm sure this is something they're setting up for and probably deliver on a little more over time. So right now I'm doubtful, but I'm still hopeful overall. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this is another one too that I'm kind of interested to see where it might go over on the wild side, because there's a bunch of things over there that will give you minions that you don't have access to on the standard side of things. So I wonder if there's, just like Firelands Portal and what was the other portal? Just Unstable Portal, right?
Right.
They've got a lot of portals over there that seem to bring the minions to the yard. So maybe that's just the kind of thing that, you've got to make work in wild until we get a couple more expansions later on this year.
Yeah, I will say one thing I didn't try to build, which might be a different angle, is like just a stall, freeze, burst damage, all spell mage, no minion mage, where it's just like you just lock things down. So it's less focused on maybe summoning minions and more just like, I'm going to stall this out and then go over the top with Pyroblast, Fireballs, whatever.
Well, yeah, because
right?
You'll have 8 mana Pyroblasts
exactly.
and 2 mana Fireballs.
So it's 16 damage in one
turn.
swoop.
Yeah,
exactly. So that might be an angle for this that I haven't really considered or played around with yet. That's intriguing, but it's like Frost Nova kind of needs a Doomsayer almost sometimes, right? So there's no Doomsayer.
Yeah. So it's like you have to kind of freeze like turn over turn over turn over turn over turn, right? Because otherwise.
Yeah, I will say I do love the idea of this. Like it feels so iconically mage, like to have no like physical combat really so much, except maybe summoning stuff. But so
like water elementals, it's perfect.
Exactly. From a flavor standpoint, this is like out of the park. Perfect. I just don't know if I'm gonna get there from a competitive gameplay standpoint just yet. But again, I have hope. By the way, Deep Freeze artwork, I just love the colors of it or something. It looks so cool. Sorry, audio listeners, you can't see it yet, but look out for it next time you see it. Deep Freeze is really cool looking.
Our listeners are very used to Jocelyn getting excited about anything that is purple and blue.
Yeah, so you're right on brand. I love it.
Anything that leans towards cotton candy colors. Jocelyn will make note of it. Which, by the way, first of all, I'm excited about Evocation, which we haven't talked about. Legendary spell for mage, 1 mana, fill your hand with random mage spells at the end of your turn, discard them. Also passes the Jocelyn color test.
Absolutely. And I find this card to be really interesting because it's giving me like Solarium vibes, except for it's not pulling anything out of your deck. So when you discard it at the end of your turn, you're not effectively like losing any of your cards. So, and it fills your entire hand, right? So you just get a bunch of stuff and then you can play them or not and kind of like make a turn out of whatever you get. Like there's going to be a lot of options here. I think this is a powerful card.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Yes.
I have no additional insights. You covered it. Yeah.
Nothing to add.